Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Chang. So today I'm going to go over the structure of my personal favorite workout split for building muscle, which is the 4-day upper-lower split. In other words, you alternate between training upper body and then lower body, and do that for a total of 4 days in the gym every week. So the advantage of a split like this is you can really fit it into any schedule because the muscle groups you train on one day will always be resting the day after, whether you take a rest day or go on to the next workout. So pretty much you can literally do any 4 days in a week, just based on whatever works best for you. So I'm going to go over the structure of the workouts, and by structure I mean I'll go over the movement patterns you want to do in each workout. So you can choose whatever exercises fit best for you based on the equipment available to you. So my goal for this video is that it can apply to basically anyone, and I'll be using vertical videos, so I'll write notes on the sides, and you can take a screenshot at the end and never know what to do in the gym. Okay, so let's do this. So first let's go over the upper body workout structure. I like to separate upper body into 5 main exercises. First is going to be chest or back, and I would start with whatever you want to focus on most. For chest, it's pretty simple. Find a movement where you pull the upper arm or the humerus across the body. I prefer a machine horizontal press, such as this, but you can also do machine flies or dumbbell / barbell press, or even dips to cover the upper and lower chest. On one day I would do some sort of incline chest movement and a more middle / lower chest movement on the other day. Some people prefer to only work upper chest because that's usually the hardest part to grow, but really it's whatever, that's up to you. Next, we're gonna move on to the back movements. This is going to include any exercise where you pull the elbow towards your body. Simple enough. So when it comes to back, I like to separate my exercises into vertical pulling and horizontal pulling movements, doing both on separate days. So for vertical pulling, my preference is the seated single arm cable pull down with a bench to brace yourself against, but you can also do this in a kneeling lunge. You can also do cable pull downs or pull ups, or any pull down machine works. And like I said before, choose one that feels good to you and just run with it. Next up is the horizontal pulling movements. My favorite for this is any chest supported row, like a T-bar row or machine row. You can also do seated cable rows or barbell / dumbbell rows. The third exercise in my upper body workout is usually a shoulder / trap movement. This is where you can really customize the workout how you want. If you want to, you can do both a shoulder exercise and trap exercise. But for me, my traps grow a lot just from rowing, so I just focus on the delts. If I were to do a trap exercise, it would be this one right here, which is a combination of an upright row and shrug. The traps perform both scapular elevation and retraction, so pulling a cable at this diagonal angle works perfectly. So for the deltoids, this is also where you can make adjustments based on what you need. Personally, I find the front and rear delts get worked a lot from the chest and back movements we do. But if you want to focus on them more, I would do some sort of overhead pressing movement for the front delts, such as seated shoulder press or machine shoulder press. And for the rear delts, I would do reverse flies on a fly machine. For the side delts, any variation of lateral raise works perfectly fine. You can do lateral raise with dumbbells or cables, whatever feels best. Now onto the arms. So we'll start with triceps first. I like to separate my tricep exercises into overhead movements and movements with the elbow at the side. Overhead exercises will get a great stretch in the triceps long head, which is the part of the tricep that is on the back of the arm. My favorite exercise is just an overhead cable rope extension, but you can do this with a dumbbell as well, or some gyms have machines for this. For the other tricep exercise, any cable pushdown will do. I like to do this on a dual cable machine, but if you have no cables, you can also do something like a JM press or skull crushers, which you will never see me do because of my fragile elbows. And lastly, for the upper body workout is the biceps. Biceps are simple and don't need to be overcomplicated. Just curl the elbow. I think machine preacher curls are the best because you get resistance throughout the entire range of motion. but curls with dumbbells or barbells or cables works fine. Alright, now let's talk about lower body. First, for the quads, we're going to do a squat type motion on one day and a machine leg extension on the other day. There are many ways to squat, but my preference is the pendulum squat, which most gyms on earth do not have, but if you can't find that, a Smith machine squat is my second choice, followed by the hack squat, followed by normal barbell squatting. You can also choose to do Bulgarians if you dislike pain. For the leg extension, most gyms will have a leg extension machine. If yours doesn't, my honest advice is to find another gym because it's a really basic machine. But if you really don't have access to any, then you can do a lunge or rear foot elevated split squat. Or just do squats again if you really like squats. Next is glutes and hamstrings. I'm going to group these muscles together since they often work together. So on the day that you do squats, I would also do a hip thrust movement. You can do this with a barbell or machine, but if none are available, you can do hip extensions on the hyper extension thingy. Now on the day that I do leg extensions, I will also do a hinge movement, aka a deadlift. You can do normal deadlifts, but I prefer to do Romanian deadlifts since they shift the load onto your posterior chain, which is where the glutes and hamstrings are. I consider the deadlift to be both glute and hamstring, and so on the day that I do squats and hip thrust, I will also do a machine leg curl. You can do lying leg curls or seated leg curls, but I prefer them seated since you get a greater stretch in the hamstrings. On the deadlift day, I will also do an adduction movement to work the inner thigh. Squatting involves a lot of adductor already, so I won't do it on that day. An adduction machine is best for this, but if your gym doesn't have this, then you can also do single leg press. Any exercise where you get the knee close to your chest and push away will work the adductors. For calves, I separate my exercises into a straight knee and bent knee calf raise. A straight leg calf raise will put a greater stretch on the gastrocnemius muscle, which is the big part that you want to grow. For this, I like to do calf raises on a leg press machine, but standing calf raise machine works as well. Just anything where your knee is extended and almost straight. Bending the knee will put more load on the soleus muscle, which sits a little under and below the gastrocnemius. Seated calf raises are perfect for this, but if you don't have one, it's fine to do straight leg calf raises on both days. And to keep your ankles healthy, I would also superset each set of calf raises with toe raises to work the tibialis anterior muscle, which is that muscle on the front side of your shin. Lastly, I end my lower body workouts with some kind of core or ab exercise. Usually on one day I will do some kind of spinal flexion exercise like a cable crunch or leg raise. If you really have no special equipment, you can just do sit-ups or something like that. On the other day, I will do a rotational core exercise, like some sort of cable chop or pal-off press. If you want to keep your spine healthy, you gotta make sure you not only bend, but twist. Alright, so that's basically an outline of what I would do in a 4-day upper-lower workout routine. The last thing I want to talk about is how many sets and reps should you do? And the answer is it's really up to you and what works best for the time you have available and your goals. At most, I will do 3 sets per exercise, but if I'm short on time, I will start by doing less sets for arms, since the chest and back exercises already work arms by default. Or let's say you want to focus more on arms and less on chest and back, you can just do 1 to 2 sets for chest and back, and more for the arms. If you do 3 sets every workout, but you feel really tired by the time it's time for the next workout, it could mean that maybe the volume is too high, and you can try cutting it down to just 2 sets. As long as you get 1 set in for each movement, you will be covering all the main muscle groups in your body. So with that being said, follow this outline, and you'll never be lost in the gym again, hopefully. Alright, peace out.